to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my favorite brushes from my collection. This is pretty much everything. I don't have a ton of stuff that I just keep in my collection that I don't use. I try not to do that. So anyways, these brushes are my favorite. I use them almost every day. A lot of these I even use in my professional makeup kit. I've just found that I really like them. Some of them are super affordable and some of them are a little bit more pricey. But yeah, let's just go ahead and jump into the video. This has been so requested, probably one of the most requested videos. So I'm excited to share with y'all today and I hope you're excited to watch. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I am gonna start with the eyeshadow brushes and start with blending and just kind of work my way up. So the first brush is the Morphe M441. This is one of my largest blending brushes. I pretty much only use this for a super light transition color that I don't mind going up pretty high, because depending on how big your lid is, this brush is pretty large. But it is one of my like all-time favorites. I feel like it has been in my collection the longest. Next, I have the Essence Eye Blender brush. I've talked about this a lot. This is super cheap. I find it at Ulta, so of course all this stuff will be linked down below. But this is literally one of my all-time favorites. Like the Morphe, the one I talked about right before this, used to be my favorite until I found this, and this is so much softer and honestly does an even better job. But I like this one because it's slightly smaller, so if I really wanted to take like a deeper color on my outer corner, I could use this, just being careful not to take it too high. This brush is so good. This is one that I don't use a ton, but it is really good as well. It's the e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender brush. It's similar to the other two that I mentioned. It is pretty large. I would say even a little bit larger than the Morphe one. This is a really affordable option if you're not able to order something or you're just needing something from the drugstore. The next one is the Morphe M433 brush. This is another one of my all-time favorites. It's similar to the first Morphe brush that I mentioned, but it's a little bit smaller and more precise. So for me, this is like a crease blending brush. I don't know what any of these brushes technically claim that they're for, but I found what I like to use them for, and that's pretty much what I stick to. So this one I like to use in my outer corner to blend, or like in my crease. So this is a really easy tip to go by if you don't know much about eyeshadow. The larger the brush, the lighter the color. The smaller the brush, the darker the color. And that's true pretty much for the most part. Now for the next little category that I'm going to go into, these are out of, I'm pretty sure they're out of a like brush kit from Amazon or something. I think I won them in hair school. I don't know, they're super cheap, but they're my favorites. So it just goes to show you don't need an expensive brush. One of them is just flat. The other one has a little bit of an angle to it. I like to use both of these pretty much to, I will spray them and pack like a shimmery shade on my lid with these, or even like set a concealer on my lid or whatever. So I'm going to try to find brushes similar to these and link them below. Another brush that's kind of similar to that is the e.l.f. Eyeshadow C brush. I really like this one because it's rounded all the way around. That's why they call it the C brush. But this one is perfect to do like a cut crease, or not really to carve out a cut crease, but to apply a shade over a cut crease. So I really like that one as well. Okay, I don't have this brush in here with me, but I'm gonna insert a picture of it. I believe it's the ColourPop E9. This is my favorite for the lower lash line. I like to use it with a lighter shade, but you could use it with a little bit deeper. Just be careful not to bring it down too low or blend it out too much. But I struggled finding a brush for the lower lash line for the longest time, and this one is like my perfect dream brush. Another one that I really like is the e.l.f. Detail Crease Brush. This one is a little bit smaller, so you could use a little bit of a darker shade. Next, I wanted to mention the AOA Studio E115. This is a flat, precise, like, detail brush. I really like to use this to line my upper lash line with a shadow. I like to do that instead of using an eyeliner most of the time. So I like to use this for that, or to take a really dark brown shade to pack on my lower lash line and then blend out with one of my other brushes. So this is a really good brush as well. It's from the Shop Miss A, I think, website, and most of their brushes are $1. There's two that I'll mention in here. This is one of them, and they are so good, like my favorite. This is a very well-loved brush. It doesn't even have a name on it anymore. I'm pretty sure it's e.l.f., so I'm gonna try to find it and I'll link it below. But it's just a really small, like, bullet brush, pencil brush. I really like to use this to apply like an inner corner highlight, or you could even use it for your lower lash line. Moving on to like eyebrow. This all kind of has to do with like eyebrow or carving out your lid. So my favorite eyebrow brush, if I'm using a powder for my brows, is the e.l.f. Eyebrow Duo Brush. So this is really great. It has the spoolie on one end and the brush on the other. I will say it's not quite as, it's a little bit thicker on the end. So if you have really skinny brows, this may not be the right brush for you, but for the most part, this works on everybody. I even like to use this in my kit. I bought the Anastasia one and I really don't love it because I find that it creates, it's so precise that it creates a really harsh line, and I don't like that. So that's my favorite eyebrow brush. And then my favorite brush to carve out my brows or even carve out a cut crease is this Ego Tools Duo Brush. So there's a really flat brush on one side. It's small, it's perfect. Sorry, my fridge, my ice maker. And then the other side is like a fluffy brush, so you can even take, I don't use this side as much, but you can take it and blend out the concealer or whatever. Love this. And then another brush that is pretty good for carving out your brows, but I feel like I can't be as precise as I can with that Ego Tools brush. So I use this more for carving out a cut crease, but it is this Bdellium Tools 936. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'll try to find it and link it below because I bought this one from a professional website, but I do really like it. It is more like of a flat synthetic brush. The last one for this category is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. This is so good. In my kit, I'll use this to get like around the nose in the creases or in the corners of the eyes, the smaller places that are harder to get on other people. For myself, I'll take this once I've carved out my brows and put concealer on my lid. I'll use this to blend it out or like around my brows or whatever. This is so good. Okay, the next category is going to be face brushes, and I think I have 7 in this category. So first, starting with foundation brushes, and I'm going to start with my favorite and work to my least favorite, and I think it actually works in order of cheapest to most expensive. So the first one is dirty. I'm sorry, most of them are, all my brushes are clean right now except this one. But this is the e.l.f. Powder Blurring Brush. So I don't guess it's even for foundation, but I really like it. They do have a foundation brush, I think, and I have it as well, but this one's bigger. So I just feel like it's even faster. I do still use a sponge to blend over this, but I really like this one. My next favorite is the Wet n Wild foundation brush. I really like this one as well, and it's also really, really affordable. The last foundation brush is this Morphe M439 brush. I like it, just not as well as my really affordable brushes, but I just wanted to mention it as well in case you're a Morphe person or you just wanted different options. Okay, the powder brush that I like to use is the Eco Tools, or no, sorry, Real Techniques blush brush. This is so good. I love it. I use it to dust away the powder underneath my eyes and kind of dust it around my face. You can use it for blush or bronzer. It's a good like all-in-one brush, I feel like, but I mostly just use it for my translucent powder. Okay, sorry if things look a little bit different. My camera battery was dying, so I had to change it out. But continuing on, the next category is bronzer and blush, and this is the e.l.f. complexion brush. I love this for both of those two things. It's just perfect for me. Next is the AOA F13. This is what I use for contour. It's perfect. I love this. So I mentioned earlier that from the Shop Miss A website I had two brushes. This is the other one. It's the F13. I use this for contour. Seriously, y'all, I love it. I can't find anything else that I like better. It was literally like $1. So if you've ever thought about ordering from them, I highly recommend it. Okay, for the last brush, I don't have it in here with me, but I mentioned it in my last couple videos. It is the e.l.f. highlight brush. I have this one that's from Ulta that I can never find, but I love it. It's perfect for applying my highlight. Like, I just can't find anything else I like better. It's not too small, but it's not too large either. So I finally found one that you can go out and buy at Walmart, and it is e.l.f. like I said. I'll pop it in on the screen and link it down below. But I think that's pretty much it for all my brushes. I did want to mention too, the two sponges that I like. One of them is the e.l.f. complexion sponge, I believe. It's the peachy colored one. All-time favorite. Like, I absolutely love it. It's my favorite one for my kit too. But recently I did try some off of Amazon that are a little bit cheaper, and I also like that the end is pointed, so it's easier to get into like small areas, or it's even more precise if you want to carve out underneath your contour. So I really like those as well. I'll link both of them down below in case you're interested. I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you try any of these brushes out, let me know how you like them. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss my next upload. And I'll see y'all in my next video.